All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight it's just Keith and Chris. I wanted to pose a question to Chris and just kind of get his feelings on it, just as kind of like a, what do you think we're going to start? What do you think we're going to do here in this upcoming season, especially with fantasy football right around the season, or right around the corner? Really, it's coming up rapidly. I wanted to pose the question to: is it time to start devaluing running backs and overvaluing wide receivers? Because if you look at it, especially in most leagues now, the way to play is PPR. Most people are playing PPRs at this point.
Yep.
And I just think outside of the top maybe 2 or 3 running backs, everything else down the line is a wide receiver because they get the ball more often than your running backs. So is it time to start drafting wide receivers in that first, second, third round and picking your running backs up later as the draft goes on? Or are you still kind of the old school mentality of we're gonna keep taking the wide receiver we're gonna keep taking the running backs because they are the ones that touch the ball more than a receiver does?
Yeah. Oh man.
Because if you look at it over the last, let's just say two or three seasons, your top points getters: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, can catch 100 balls a season and rush for 5-6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler can catch 100 balls a season and run for 7 or 8
He
touchdowns.
had 13 fucking touchdowns last year. Yeah.
So, are we getting to that point now where you're going to be more inclined to take that receiver with those top 5 picks?
Yeah, I think I still believe fully that Eckler and McCaffrey will probably go in the top 5 of all the drafts. I still think that
if McCaffrey's healthy, he's definitely a top 3 player.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I think that they're into another category, and I think after that, then the rest of the running backs follow suit, right? Like Jonathan Taylor had a big step back here. Saquon Barkley is always a question mark healthy-wise. Bijan Robinson, everybody's huge on, but he's still a rookie.
He's a rookie.
You know?
And a very bad Atlanta Falcons team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Derrick Henry doesn't catch the ball.
But Derrick Henry runs for fucking 2,000 yards a season.
Yeah, but you have, like you said, if you're
touchdowns.
playing in a PPR league, you got to catch the ball.
You got to catch the ball. No, I agree. But if he's gonna rush for 150 yards and get 2 touchdowns, I mean that makes up for close to what a receiver's going to get.
Yeah, but there was the moment of health, just a year ago. So there's always going to linger in the back of your mind now of as he's
because he is
older.
getting older and he's a more physical runner. I do agree.
Yeah,
but
also a team that now doesn't have Taylor Lewan anymore, so his offensive line is getting worse in that sense as well. So. I agree with you. I think for me though, I would still say McCaffrey, Eckler, certainly top 5 picks. But if you're in the draft
and those two guys are
gone, you got to be taking wide receiver. In my opinion, you can't pass on Jefferson, Chase, Cook, Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. I know Devontae Adams obviously taking a step back at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I still think Jimmy has proven that he will have a favorite wide receiver and throw that wide receiver the ball a lot of times. So
he did it with Debo in San Francisco.
He did it with Debo.
Debo was singled out pretty much every single time he was going to go back and throw the ball.
Well, even if it wasn't him, it was
Ayuk.
Well, not Ayuk, but
Kittle.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I still think that Devontae Adams will get the target stuff. Not promising he's going to convert the receptions, but.
I don't think he's going to have the 120 receptions again. Okay, well, I'll pose this question to you then, too. If you're sitting at, let's just say you're sitting at 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Eckler's gone, McCaffrey's gone, Diggs or Chase is gone. Okay, so we'll put you at 5. Eckler's gone, McCaffrey's gone, Chase and Justin Jefferson are gone.
Yeah, so.
Are you going to go Travis Kelce or are you going to go Stephon Diggs?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're giving me the field, are you giving me the field or are you making me pick between those two?
Well, I think that's the most logical point at place at 5.
I would take Tyreek Hill, honestly. I would, because I still think Tyreek Hill had a 1,700-yard season last year, 200 or 120 receptions with or without Tua's health, right? So he proved that he's still elite no matter who's quarterbacking. So for me, I have a lot of faith in Tyreek Hill having a very similar season. Give me 110 catches, give me 1,400 yards, maybe give me 10 touchdowns. Like, I think Tyreek Hill is going to be the person that I would probably take at 5.
Okay. I mean, that's
but if I'm picking between Travis Kelce and Stephon Diggs, yeah, I'm probably picking Kelce. I still think that Kelce is the number one receiver in that offense. I think with Juju gone, they've got some young receivers like Justin Ross, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore. They need to figure out who's going to step up in that. But I still think Kelce gets his targets. He gets his.
Kelsey is just such a big mismatch on that team. That's what's crazy about it. Yeah. And he's being
and he's such a touchdown threat too. That's the other thing.
Well, he can go for 3 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah.
I mean, at the drop of a dime. Yeah. I mean, any game he can go for 3 touchdowns.
I think Diggs is still a very, very, very good player. Would not be upset with Diggs at all if he's.
I don't think anybody is, but I'm just saying.
I do think that there's a part of the division he plays in now where there are some really good corners.
Absolutely.
And there are good corners in the NFL, and the problem is I really just think that teams are going to commit to stopping Stephon Diggs at all costs. If they can put 3 guys on him, they're going to make Gabe Davis win.
They're going to make Gabe Davis be the best player.
And he hasn't proven
it. And he hasn't proven it at all. You're right.
Yeah.
So I guess so then the question that I have for you, and this is it's a really tough question. Are you putting more emphasis on the wide receiver position this year than you typically would in prior years?
It really all depends on the person's draft. So if you're out there, you're watching this, like some people's drafts, everybody takes running back. Like no matter what happens, no matter who it is, like there's going to be just a mad rush to take running back. I would sit back. Like I really think this is the year if you're going to sit back and feel comfortable about some of these late running backs. Like I've got my eyes on a few people, and I'll bring them up in a second, but I don't think you need to be passing on a Stephon Diggs to draft a Tony Pollard. Like
no,
I just think that no matter what the rest of your league and your draft is doing, don't pass on elite wide receivers when you're probably playing in a league where there's a 2 wide receiver and a flex if you're playing in a standard league. Some leagues play 3 wide receivers too. So if you can start to stack some guys in that wide receiver core, you could feel really good about your chances of outscoring people in certain positions. Which is, if you're a person like myself that plays a shit ton of fantasy, that has played for
we've got like 6 teams 15 all the time.
Yeah, 15 years. Like the best way to win fantasy leagues is ultimately score more points at each position than your other person, but ultimately have more categories or more positions where you score more points, right? Like Absolutely. You may not have as good a quarterback as who you're facing, but if you have a better running back, top 2 wide receivers, and then a tight end and probably defense and kicker, you're going to outscore them point-wise.
Absolutely. So, I just think right now with the way the running back situation is in the NFL, that running backs honestly are a dime a dozen. There's not a really, outside of Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey, there's not really a dominant running back that's out there that's gonna, just shut everybody down.
Yeah. I really think that ultimately that we've gotten to a point in the NFL where everybody is splitting carries with somebody.
Absolutely. So, there's not an RB1. It's kind of like an RB1A, RB1B at this point. There's no RB1, RB2, RB3. It's which 2 guys are going to split, like we discussed earlier.
I think there's unique situations like the Chargers. I think Eckler is really, really on his own out there.
Absolutely, he definitely is the RB1 in that situation.
But even Christian McCaffrey has Elijah Mitchell.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I was going to say, if you look at like in Carolina, you got Miles Sanders, you got Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Chuba Hubbard's proven to be a solid running back.
Yep.
In Green Bay, you've got Aaron Jones and you've got A.J. Dillon.
Oh yeah.
Both really good running backs.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to see. And then what hurts at running back position, I feel, because this has happened to you in fantasy, it's happened to me in fantasy. If we get let's just say we have Dalvin Cook.
Yep. Dalvin
Cook gets them all the way down the field to the 3, and then Breece Hall comes in. Well, now Breece Hall comes in.
Yeah.
But in Minnesota, Madison comes in and gets the touchdown.
Yeah.
So we're out 6 points because we got them all the way down the field. Well, we missed the 6 points at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And there's some players like you think about Jamal Williams last year in Detroit. People played him
all his points
solely because of touchdowns.
right, because he got 17 fucking touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
So
Very very similar situation, probably coming in New Orleans this year too.
absolutely, he's gonna be the third down back that's gonna get the first downs. He's gonna get the touchdowns at the goal line because Kamara just doesn't have that drive. All right.
Hit us in the comments. Let us know what you think about it. Are you taking running back or wide receiver first this year in fantasy? And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.